Welcome to the Dawg Chug. Ross, how you doing?
Fantastic. Apparently some teams are still playing pro football right now.
I would say hi to Roger, but I'm not talking to you tonight.
Am I actually on the opening this week? I haven't been like 2 months. I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Why aren't you talking to me? What happened?
I'm very mad, but I don't want to get into it because, we're trying to do a great show tonight, and I don't want to bring us down. So I'm just going to throw that out there and not tell you so it can be awkward because we love awkward on the Dawg Chug, right?
Right.
It's never intentional. Are you kidding me?
Right. Tonight it's intentional.
Oh my gosh. But you did do a great job on the top 10 last week. I do want to point that out. If you haven't seen it, it was hysterical.
Would you say it was one of his top 10s?
It definitely was one of his top 10.
Yeah, you guys, you know what, man, I worked hard
was
to
it a
try
bottom
to
10, top 10, bottom 10?
But I did your guys's. I did the video of you guys doing the update. I thought that was better.
Better than what? I'm so sorry.
You and Ross did the update. I did the video of you two doing the two updates. At the end of the update, and that did really good when I made that video and put it on Twitter.
Wow,
we got a lot of views.
Yeah, you got to get those likes and views. That's all that matters in life.
I'm still going to be mad at you, but you're working your way back for all those compliments. I appreciate that.
Hey, then I did a promo with our guest and did a highlight with a good part with the guest. It was a good pro. I'm working hard, Andy.
You're killing it. I got to give you a lot of credit. I just, think you're a piece of shit.
So, all right.
Unfortunately, Dawg Chug is not a union, and you do not get time and a half.
But anyway, we're going to have a great show tonight.
Yeah.
Roger, I know you're going to kill it again tonight, even though I'm mad at you. You're still going to.
Now I'm going to have a complex all night.
Oh, Jessica's chiming in.
Oh, Jessica.
Whoa.
A regular last week. We replaced Roger. That was my doing because I don't like Roger anymore. But we forgot to send Jessica the link. Sorry, Jessica. We'll get you back on next week. Clearly. So
we did find out. I reviewed Roger's contract, and it said since we're guaranteeing him so much money, cutting him would actually be the same exact price as keeping him on. So it's just an awkward situation.
Is that good or bad? I don't know if that. I mean, it's good for me. I'm getting paid either way.
No, we're not letting you get away with like what Matt Rule got away with, like getting fired and coaching or not coaching for several years, getting a paycheck. Or all the other former Browns coaches that were probably still paying.
Is this season a Dawg Chug my Brady's last season with the Bucks? Am I going to go down in flames like he did?
Hey, he still made the playoffs, okay?
Yeah, he made the playoffs. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great show. Ross, I hope you had an amazing weekend and week. I'm so glad you're here to do the show with us. But let's get started. Let's go to the Dawg Chug update. Sound good?
All right.
And this is where we're going to tell all of our lucky fans the news, what's going on in the NFL. And we even have a little bit of a joke tonight, which is going to be a lot of fun. We've never done a joke in the Dawg Chug update because it's very serious. I don't know if you pay attention. So this is the Dawg Chug update. I'm going to get us started. NFL fans have expressed much disappointment over multiple botched and questionable calls from the officials during the championship games this Sunday. So Dawg Chug actually did some investigating to reveal what happened, and it boiled down to a simple case of mistaken identity. The officials, during their planning session to determine the winner of the game hours before, saw the visiting team was from Ohio and just assumed it was the Browns and didn't realize it was a legitimate football team until it was too late. That sucks.
Oh,
barely in Ohio.
I think it's me, right?
It's you.
Yeah.
Shit.
Tom Brady. What did I do?
Dude, don't worry about it. Let's get on the show. Be a professional.
Tom Brady released a video today where he got choked up announcing his retirement. Asked if he was calling it quits because Father Time caught up with him. He said, "Fuck no. I could have gone another 10 years and won multiple Super Bowls. But after losing to Jacoby Brissett and the Cleveland Browns, I realized it was time to find a new way to make a living."
Yes, I thought I had the soundboard set up. I do not. I was going to do the drum roll. All right. The Denver Broncos announced they were closing in on a hire for a head coach and then were forced to expand the search giving off the appearance they couldn't find anyone that wanted the job. A very similar thing happened to the 2014 Browns when they were unable to land their top candidates and the search continued deep into the playoffs. The only difference is the Broncos ended up with a Super Bowl winning, experienced head coach Sean Payton, and the Browns ended up with Mike Pettin.
Ooh.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, that one hurts. So the NFL recently announced the salary cap was bumped over $16.5 million to a total of $224.8 million, to the applause of sexual predators everywhere that couldn't find a real job. Jeez.
Ooh.
Okay, now we have Roger is going to tell a joke. So Roger, I'm sending you the text. He has not gotten to read this. You're just going to read it. It might be fucked up, but you're a piece of shit. You'll get through it. So I just sent you the text.
All right.
Oh, he's cutting out.
Uh-oh.
This wasn't part of the joke, was it?
Yeah.
It came in backwards. A podcast featuring a guy can't talk, I can't hear. Still fuck up for that. Similar to the better produced Down with the Browns, they should have also featured other.
He doesn't have a good internet connection. We got to bring Jessica back.
Yeah.
A black guy, a whiny bitch, and a minor. A shitty and poorly produced podcast is a painful reminder of how shitty and poorly planned the Browns are. Probably they want
Did you sabotage his stream, Andy?
What am I on the right track? Are you out of order?
We can barely tell what you're saying.
Yeah, we can't hear you, unfortunately. And you're reading a text, I think, that I sent you from a previous episode of the Dawg Chug. It just isn't going well. Here, do a testing. Let's see if we can hear you now.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now you can hear me.
I can hear you now. Okay, I'm going to try sending this to you.
Okay. Here's mine. I'm sending you one right now. Well, it's probably good nobody heard me.
Yeah. No, it was perfect timing for you to cut out. That was great. Let's see.
I don't know what happened, but yeah, wonderful. I'm like, why did you send this to me to read?
Okay, I sent it to the chat. You can go in the Twitter and read it.
Okay. I started to read that, and you guys stopped me.
Well, we stopped you because you weren't coming in. We couldn't hear
you. I thought you wanted me to scroll up. Okay. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay. What does John Adams and Ed in Columbus have in common?
I don't know.
Neither are going to be doing any banging anytime soon.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
You got some dark humor, Roger.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Roger.
I'm glad I wrote.
Pissed at you. That was awful.
I'm despicable. No wonder you called me a piece of shit earlier.
All right. Well, let's get back to the Dawg Chug update. Ross.
Oh, shit. I'm up again. It is projected that Ohio could be the fourth highest state in money wagered, spending around $8 billion this year. I'm actually surprised this number isn't higher. Between the Buckeyes, Bengals, and especially the Browns, and you live in a city with nothing to do, so you're going to watch all the games, there's a pretty good chance you're going to fire some bets away. And they'll most likely be losers, as evidenced by our football pool this season.
Oh, we did not do well. That is so true. Ohio loves to bet. And by the way, I have wagered about 1 billion of the 8 billion total, so I'm doing my part. But
you gotta have $1 billion to bet $1 billion, right?
Well, yeah, but you win $5 here, then you lose $5, so you just kind of keep betting. At the end of the day, I don't know. I'm down like $14 million, but
wow,
I'm having fun, doing a lot of parlays. If I just got one more yard from during that game, I would have won.
What level of a degenerate are you? Like, are you betting on like cricket yet in India?
Yeah.
Well, I used to before we can finally make like appropriate normal bets, so that's cool.
What about that frisbee game they play with the frisbees? Do you get out and
frisbee?
Throw some wagers down on that?
I don't know the name of it or how it's played, but yes, I do bet on it.
Yeah, ultimate frisbee and disc golf are like two different things, but ultimate frisbee is probably what you're talking about.
I'm going to set up mouse races down here and get Andy over here. Get some live action in the basement.
Let's do it.
I got cats. I'll race them.
Ross, you want to bet on whose mouse will win?
I'll take the big fat one.
All right.
Hey, I received a text that my I'm cutting out on anybody watching, go ahead, feel free to let me know. Am I coming in better? Like my
now, yeah.
It was literally that isolated minute because I went
okay.
the computer.
Well, before the show, our internet was out for like 45 minutes. So.
Jessica asks if I bet on Highlight, and yes, I do. It's why I know how to pronounce that. Of course, I do.
Well, Andy, you got the football coming up. The USFL's coming up. That season's going to get kicked off. Yes.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, I got the Panthers, the Michigan Panthers. Jeff Fisher rebuilt last year, so.
Jeff Fisher, a proven
Mr. 500.
Jeff Fisher with his rebuild in year one.
All right. Now, I believe this has not been a very good show so far, but it's going to get way better because the piece of shit himself, Roger, I hear you have a little ad prepared.
I do, man. Andy, I put this together. I got tired of doing top 10s, to be honest with you. And I've been working on this for 2 weeks.
So did we.
Hey, before I do this, you're going to tell me why you're upset with me, what I did?
Dude, do not worry about it. You keep focusing on this thing. Be a professional. Come on, let's get to the show.
All right.
I don't like you.
It's a little hard to concentrate. I got a big production going on here.
Yeah.
Coming.
All
right.
And
all right, let's get this because we got a good show. We got a good guest
with your insecurities. That's not cool.
Okay.
All right, Roger. Let me know when you're ready.
I will. All right. I got to get into this thing right here. Okay. Andy, everybody over the holidays, Dawg Chug sent out a little something to our awesome cast of regular contributors, and they help Dawg Chug become great every week. So we spread the wealth, and the three of us sent out our three friends a homage T-shirt. And
cue it up, Roger.
Pardon?
Want me to cue it up?
No, yeah, cue it up. Get it ready. I'll tell you when to do it, though. It'll be in the notes there. Anyway, I was tasked with sending out one of the packages, and poor Chuck drew the short straw, having me in charge of mailing his shirt to him, and I failed miserably. And the problem is I don't know anything about computers. So let's go ahead, Ross. Go ahead and roll the tape. So that ain't it. Okay, I'll jump in. That ain't the beginning, but can you stop it? There it is. So I sit down, right, and I get a message out to Chuck, and I want to get him the shirts bigger than the holiday season. Baseball season's over. Chuck's distraught, and I know better to tell him maybe next year. So I get Chuck's address, I copy it down, I go to the computer, I order the shirt. Boom, shakalaka. I successfully ordered a shirt with Chuck's address for shipping. That all happened on December 15th, and all of a sudden it's early January, no homage packet at Chuck's crib. Something's gone wrong. I go and check the tracking number. I know Chuck needs a Guardian fix. Packing sitting on the shelf in Hebron, Kentucky. Awesome. Another 15 days goes by. Things are getting tight. There's no time to spare. This just may be what holds Chuck over to spring training. Holidays are over. The cheer is gone. I start digging. Just what we thought. Please, for the love of God, nobody mention Owen Miller. I get on the horn of the people over at DLS, UPS, USPS, IOC, EPA, BBB, INS, FBI, the YMCA. All the acronyms, and even Uber Eats chili dogs. I was hungry. Utah, get me two. They start looking for packages. I'm online looking up tracking numbers, more tracking numbers. This package was flagged and import scanned in Massachusetts, and it was headed to Toronto. Then it was off to Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. It was held in a secure facility. Dogs caught the scent of homage awesomeness on it. I check more tracking numbers. The clock's ticking on Chuck. Nobody's let him behind the wheel. I'm going to get really worried because Murphy goes to the Braves. Next thing I hear, package ends up in a locker in Frisco, Texas. Unbelievable. Back on a conveyor belt. And then, wait for it, abracadabra. It's magic. It's gone. It's in the wind. Hocus pocus, adios, disappeared. Rabbit ain't in the hat. I don't know where to turn. I don't know what to do. I'm like Harrison Ford getting frantic, like Sting, Trantry. So I go to Network 216. I get on the horn of homage. They connect me to the Homage All-Stars. Instantly, Chris, part of the Homage All-Star team, contacts Me, I give him the skinny on Chuck. We're in DEFCON 5. Chris and his Homage All-Star team are all over. What a group they got over there at the Homage All-Stars. They got the best All-Stars. We developed a great relationship, became really close. We ain't no paper champions, man. I asked Chris, who's on it? Who's working on this? He tells me top men. I said, who? He says, top men. Next thing I know, Chris has the packages marked return to sender. Apartment number unknown. Oop, my bad. Situation is desperate. Chuck's in bad shape. The day is saved. He's going to get out. He's going to get it out to Chuck by whatever means necessary. They wasted no time and spared no expense. Over hill, over dale, no planes, trains, or trucking, shipping gridlock. No problem for Homage All-Stars. They make things happen against all odds. They hop on their scooter through the rain, the flood. They battle the eastern seaboards, January weather, flooded roadways, torrential downpours, hail the size of baseballs. Neither rain or snow can stop the Homage All-Star squad. Scooters, Vespas, tricycles, bicycles, unicycles, 5-speed, 10-speed, nor depth of night kept them from their duty until it rested upon Chuck's doorstep. Ready for him to cheer on the Guardians of 2003 and Homage script Guardians T. A happy Chuck is my favorite Chuck, and that's right. Beep-a-deep, that's all, folks. Listen. Homage will take care of you no matter what the mix-up is, even if you're old like me. Their support squad is elite. Go to Network 016, go to Homage, pay homage.
Wow.
Wow. You know, he might have done it. First of all, he did it all by himself. So that's, since, you said he can't read. So
I stumbled. I had a couple stumbles, man.
No, you did great. And you said duty, which is hilarious. I know.
I kept thinking about Andy calling me a dick the whole time I read that.
You did good. And I love the elderly, the elderly gentleman you kept showcasing.
That's me. That's
Reminded
me
of my dad.
I was up to 1 o'clock last night making that.
Wow.
Well, I can feel it. I think you earned your very first 0 tonight.
Whoa.
Roger,
congratulations.
Congratulations.
I finally tied Andy.
Am I the only one without a 0 now? I got to step my game up.
Yeah, Ross.
Jess says she didn't know you could read that well, Roger. That's true. Yeah, that was phenomenal.
And I really thought that whole internet thing, I thought you were doing shtick. You should have kept it, man. You shouldn't have. It was pretty damn funny. I mean, Lysandra and I were making fun of you.
I stumbled twice.
You did good. And you didn't
Thank you, though. I finally tied Andy, and I can retire the homage ads. Now I don't have to do those.
No, now you just got to do bigger.
You guys don't have to sit through it. You don't have to sit through that nonsense any longer.
No, we're gonna better. We're gonna get better. I'm gonna get a -1. I gotta beat you.
Oh damn.
Wait till I make a video, plaster Twitter with it all week.
Everyone is commenting in the green room about how hilarious that was, Roger.
Yes.
Fans love what you did. I gotta say, I was like 87% pissed at you, and now it's down to 86. So
well, look at that. No heartburn, no reflux, and you're regaining Andy's favor slowly but surely.
You're chipping away at it. That's what you got to do. I bet by Brown season I might like you again.
Whoa.
I'm gonna take neither rain or snow. I might like you again by Brown season. Can stop Homage All-Stars. You're a dick. Scooter vessel. It's gonna be in my head all the time. It's gonna be subliminal.
And you listed a lot of means of transportation, so that was impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well,
thank you guys. We got somebody sitting in the green room that came in a pinch. Sherry, go ahead. You're the guest. You're our consigliere. What happened? We had a great guest plan. He had an emergency. He couldn't make it.
He'll be on. We'll reschedule him. He'll come back on. Right now,
Sorry, Andy. You're probably really mad at me now. I jumped right in there to bring our guest in.
No, I love when you facilitate the show. Good job. 85%.
I wanted to stop talking about me, man.
This is
good. I wish we would talk about you.
Drink more, right. Roger. Drink faster.
So yeah, we lost our guest, but we brought back 2 fan favorites who just kill it every time they come on the Dawg Chug, and we're so excited to have them back. And I think we have some really good questions we're gonna talk about with Spit Sip Chug. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So buckle in. The show's been a little bit of a disaster. I'm sorry you had to put up with Roger, but it's gonna get a lot better moving forward.
Better.
So, Sherry, who do we have tonight?
All right. My soul sister on the other side of the Mississippi River. I got Lysandra coming in live from Denver, Colorado. Look, there she is. There
Welcome
she
back.
is.
And
our favorite educator, our local buddy, Bill.
all right.
Bill.
Bill.
I feel like we have too many people on the screen. Let's take care of that.
Are you rocking the FC Cincinnati hat?
I am indeed.
There you go.
Sorry, Roger. That was a joke. You deserve to be on the
Hey,
show.
that was the one joke, right? Didn't you say there's one joke tonight?
Oh man.
That was
Forgot.
that was the John Adams joke. That was in such poor taste.
Oh, it was so bad I forgot it already.
Bill Lysandra, welcome. Good to see you tonight. I'm on Andy's shit list, so I'll just jump in every once in a while.
Only
Hell, I thought you were
85%.
fired last week.
Yeah. Well, you've gone from being fired to only being 85% on the shit list. So
He went to HR and started complaining, and now, like, I don't know. Apparently, we can't get rid of him until he has a pattern of bad behavior. Which, believe me, I have a folder, and once I get it thick enough, it'll be gone, and I'll be drinking. Anyway, Bill, Lysandra, thank you so much for joining us. I love when you guys are on the show, so this is fantastic. This helps offset the annoyance that I'm feeling towards another member of the show. I'm not going to get into that, though, because I'm a professional.
it's okay. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Love being here.
What did you guys think of the championship games?
The Eagles are going to whoop that ass.
Yes! We've been talking about betting, and I am going to put a nice chunky bet on the Eagles for sure.
Hell yeah.
They just run the ball better than any other team in the NFL. I mean, they do. They can come at you from so many different ways. Kansas City can't handle the run real well. This is going to be a classic example of why you can't get rid of the running game. That this whole idea of let's just throw 5 receivers out there and just throw the ball all over the place. You still got to run the football.
Yeah.
And the Eagles are the ones that are showing this right
You
now.
know, Bill, right after the season, the playoffs, everybody wanted to trade Nick Chubb. Buffalo went home because they couldn't. Buffalo went home because they couldn't run the football. You know, so what? We run Nick Chubb 20 times a year. We know we got Nick Chubb in the fourth quarter when we need to run the football. And you run him 20 times a year, he might last another 3 or 4 years on top of his career because you're not wearing him out like Derrick Henry and running him 40 times a game.
This is why
what's
the
the
Bengals
problem
lost.
with that?
This is why the Bengals lost. The Bengals lost because they didn't run Joe Mixon enough. That's the reason they lost.
That's the reason they lost.
You
They were
sit
running
there and
out,
like,
yeah.
where the hell is he? Every time he touched the ball, he's like 4.5 yards a carry. I'm like, hey, you know what? That's fine by me. You know, Cincinnati fans, see you. That's, I couldn't believe it that he was not running him more, that he wanted him to keep throwing and throwing and throwing. Mind-boggling.
That's the thing, man. In the NFL, you'll see coaches, if something, they're running the ball, it's working. Stefanski start throwing again. They just wanted. Shanahan did it in the Super Bowl in Atlanta. He just kept throwing the football. They could have ran the clock out the whole second half.
Absolutely.
So, anyway.
All right. Well, this is great conversation, and it does lead into our first statement on Spit Sip Chug. So let's just get right into it. Let's have some fun. And Roger, as always, we're going to start with you. And we have 6 Spit Sip Chugs tonight, so this is going to be great. So I hope you guys brought your alcohol. So out of all the teams that played on Sunday, the Browns roster is constructed the most similar to the Philadelphia Eagles. Roger.
Man. I'm not allowed to sip, am I?
You could sip out,
Yeah, I got to sip on it.
You're going to go, okay, 87%.
I think all NFL rosters have holes in it. I think that's what Browns fans don't realize, and then when you have elite players at a certain position, it kind of lifts the play of others. I'm sipping on it, man. I don't think that I didn't want to spit on it, but I don't think we're at the level of Howie Rout. He's done a great job in Philadelphia, man. They got a great football team. I don't think we're quite there yet, so I'm going to sip. I'm going to sip on it. How about that? I'm back to 80, aren't I?
80. You're lucky. You're getting close to 90. Ross.
I'm going to pull a Roger on this one. I'm just sipping.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the identity of the Eagles, we have like the obviously we have a running quarterback, we have a great running back. We invest heavily in our O line, and the Eagles have an awesome O line, but we don't quite have the pass rush that they have. We just have Myles Garrett. That's it. Literally, that's it. Nothing else at all. Like the worst defensive tackles in the league. Not just one. Not like all of them are terrible. And then yeah, we're just not where they are. And then also, I guess AJ Brown and who else? They're other receivers, but they have their top 3 receivers combined for 3,000 yards. We're not close to that. I mean, their roster is just abnormally loaded, and they still have tons of draft picks, which is stupid. So we're not there. We don't have we gave everything up to get Deshaun Watson, so we aren't who they are, and we think we have talent, but we don't know we have talent. Like they have obviously proven it because they're in the damn Super Bowl, and we're not. We're not even in the playoffs. Maybe I should have spit on this one.
See that? Halfway
Some
through,
of our identity is there. We do have some similarities in our offensive identity, at least.
All right. Well, for me, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not saying we are the Philadelphia Eagles. That's ridiculous. But if I had to compare our roster to the other 4 rosters that played on Sunday, yeah, clearly their commitment to the running game, I would say we resemble the most like the Philadelphia Eagles. The defense, we have a pretty young defense. Hopefully some of these guys can, improve and come together and be solidified with the new defensive coordinator. But my point is, I think, yes, they're the team when I watch them play, I think of the Cleveland Browns the most. So I am chugging on this one. We have a lot of work to do, though. So let's get to it. But this is why I'm rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be fun to watch them win and hope that maybe this is what we can aspire to be. Sherry.
I am not qualified to answer that question because I did not watch that game. And Philadelphia is full of criminals. They have to grease up the light poles before any sort of celebration happens. So,
I think we have the same problem. Come on.
So no, we're civilized.
One guy. Come on. Okay, so you're gonna.
I have to pass. Is there a pass?
Yes, passing is what Roger does. You sip.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna sip.
Okay, Sherry, you are now at 1% on my ship.
Okay.
Jeez, thanks.
I deserve that.
You'll get it right off because I love it. Sandra.
I'm going to have to sip on that. And some of the reason is because I don't have that much beer left. And then the other reason... and then the other reason would have to be I see the similarities, but the Eagles receivers just seem like they just have a deeper receiver core, and I'm going to piggyback off of Ross and say that that defensive line is, I think, elite. The Browns defensive line, they just, against the run, they made anybody look like a superstar running back this year, and it was pretty pathetic. So I'm going to have to sip on that and hope for the best next year, but we'll see.
All right. Bill.
I'm going to sip too. But this is where I'm kind of torn with. To get to the Super Bowl, you have to make it through the AFC, and the AFC teams are constructed in such a way that are not like the Eagles. Okay, so I get the idea of the question and everything, but I would almost sit there and say, well, because we have to compare ourselves to the Eagles. That's your question. I would sit there and say, how would we compare ourselves to the Bengals? How would we compare ourselves to the Chiefs? If I'm looking at the Eagles right now, offensively, I agree. We don't have that third receiver. We keep waiting. We keep saying, oh, let's just give them time. I'm sick and tired of giving time, and Ross, you're right. Their draft capital is scary good. I mean, this team, you've got Jalen Hurts. You've got so many younger superstars. Now, granted, it's going to be how you're going to pay them, but they got a great coaching staff. They play a 4-3. We weren't playing 4-3, right? We were kind of doing a 4-2-5. We were having those, because that's what he wanted was the 5 DBs, and we only had the Sam and the Mike, really. I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of really all that we kind of had. I know injuries had an impact, but we don't have the depth we don't have the depth they have. And we're not going to get the depth really because of the number of draft picks we had to give up. So I actually kind of see us a little bit more offensively like the Chiefs in a way. I mean, you look at that offensive line, in many ways, their offensive line is very similar to ours, with the exception of and I'm going to say this just because the kid's from the Dayton area, okay? But that right tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, Joe Tooney, he is on track right now, and I'm going to say it right now. He's on track to be a Hall of Famer. And this kid grew up 2.5 miles away from me. And
Wow.
he is just a super kid. But I look at that Kansas City offensive line similar to ours, with a running quarterback when healthy. Who knows what's going to happen with the running thing, but right now, this Philadelphia team is really good. But the one thing that they haven't done that we had to do is they haven't had to play really a tough competition game. All of their games, for the most part, have been blowouts. So you give them you punch them in the mouth one time, how are they going to react? That's going to be a big question mark in 2 weeks.
Right. And Jacob does point out we have 8 picks this year, so we do have plenty of capital. But
who gives a shit? Who's gonna trade for our fucking
Third and
capital?
fourth
Fuck
round.
that
Come on,
shit.
Jacob. I
We
love
don't
you.
got first round picks. Are you kidding me? Nobody wants our fucking draft capital.
Hey, he was just trying to
I'm
look
not-
on the bright
I'm all for this
side.
shit. We traded a bunch of first round picks for a quarterback.
well, they would probably draft
backfired.
us with those first round picks
develop
anyway,
them
so you
for
might as
2
well
years and
trade
hope they
for
turn into something.
Huh.
Sorry, Jacob. I'm
We
not
love
an
you.
expert. I'm just being an angry fan.
Yeah, we are very
Doesn't have
angry.
draft picks to look forward to, even though we missed the playoffs.
The Barking Browns is more the Homer feel good. This is more like we're angry and we're getting drunk. So let's go.
I can't wait to make a clip of that, Ross.
All right, I gotta say, you moved up to 84% now. Good job. Okay, statement number 2. So confused here. Instant replay in the NFL needs to be completely overhauled. And Ross, we're going to start with you.
I would say, instant replay. I don't know so much about that.
All right, hold on. Let me rephrase this because you're absolutely right. I just realized instant replay and officiating in general needs to be.
Oh, it's an obvious chug.
Okay.
I mean, how much does it take? Like the sky judge principle, like that the XFL had and everything. Obviously, that works. Like there's calls that you can make just watching something live with a camera, looking right at where the play is happening. I think that's what needs to happen is like an extra official that has a very good view of where the play is happening, and making a penalty call based on where the ball is. I just think it's very easy for fans to, be the official on their couch when all they see is the ball. But that's fair too. Like I think pass interference is almost easier to call when you have a camera looking exactly at the receiver about to get the ball. So the sky judge thing, and maybe 2 sky judges, someone like 2 refs that have 2 camera angles or something. But there's got to be more officials. They have the money for it. It's not even questionable. Like they can pay for more refs as they need more refs. But whatever it takes. I know it's a complicated game, and there's a lot of what do people say? You can have a penalty every single play, but maybe just do it where it's like, hey, if the fan can see it, why can't the ref see it? And I think the solution is the ref in the sky or a ref who's just watching the film.
All right.
Wow.
All right. I'm going to agree. I'm going to chug.
That was an update from New York, straight from the NFL office.
I'm not going to repeat. I think I agree with everything that you said, Ross, for the most part. It's so silly. There should be absolutely people. It's so easy to see things when you're watching it on TV. And I mean, I'm a moron. I don't see everything that I should be seeing when I watch a football game, but like I definitely saw the holding on that last play where he got shoved out of bounds. There should be someone that's watching from up above that can like, hey, there was whatever. There needs to be a way for various angles to be utilized, and then the last 2 minutes of the game is so critical. Like, to me, it's so silly that we say like these things can be are good for instant replay. These things that happens. Sorry, you're out of luck. Maybe we can like look at more things in the most critical moments of a game so that I don't know, the right thing ends up happening. I don't know what the right solution is, but definitely think we need to, because at the end of the day, like, I hate whining about officiating. I hate it. I hate when it comes down to, whether it's I lost a bet because of it or because the Browns lost a game because of it. I hate it. I don't want to be a whiner, but it is such a frustrating aspect, and it doesn't seem to be getting a lot better. And, I watch college football, and they seem to do it so much better than the NFL. I don't understand that. Like, fix that problem. Like you said, Russ, they can throw money at this problem and probably do a better job. So get on it. Jerry.
Okay, I was paying attention the entire time, and I'm going to chug on that.
There you go.
Jerry, you're back to 100% in my favorite
I
person.
think why not, since we have the technology, implement a human and maybe something AI that could run along with the human. That way we could get both sides, and I don't know. Or what about a drone? Or would that be too distracting if there was like a ref, like a black and white zebra drone just hovering above wherever the ball is?
Do it. I love it. Yeah.
Something needs to be done, because I feel like every game, it's always like one team getting heavily fined as opposed to like the other team. And why is that? Human error is ginormous. So they need more eyes on the ball. Human, not human.
All right. What's Andrew?
All right. My feelings about this are kind of all over the place, but I think I'm going to sip again to ration my beer. But also, because I do agree with the aspect that we do have the technology and it's there. We could do the AI, we can add all the cameras, but we're still, I don't think that that's going to be a foolproof thing. Wasn't there something that just came out recently, like even Tom Brady and some other players that have been talking in the media, where they say pretty much every single play there's holding. At what point do you call that? And I think the issue that we have in the NFL is the lack of consistency. So I think where we would benefit would probably be on the AI, like Sherry was saying, where, the AI can determine like how much holding is actual holding and kind of leave the human error out of it. But it happens so much, and adding cameras and everything is great. But I think that adding the AI and maybe just taking into account that not everything's going to be caught, and that's just the reality of it. But definitely adding technology will make, I feel, the officiating a little more consistent.
All right. Love everything you said. It is a complicated issue, and I agree with everything you said. I agree with everything Ross said. That just speaks to the volume of this one. Bill.
I'm going to sip. I've got there's a lot of things that I'm a firm believer that the NFL officials should be full-time. And if I believe they're part-time. I don't know who is evaluating the officials after each game, or the official crew. Like I know in Major League Soccer and MLS, at the end of each game, the 3 referees have to sit down with a referee or a couple of referees who actually sit in the stand, and they actually go over and say, let's talk about all your decisions in the game. Okay. Would a full-time refs help in the NFL? I do. I think the NFL does need to do something about this, because the gambling aspect is key. And if you don't do something now, then every time that somebody places a bet, they're going to say, oh, forget it. Everything is rigged anyhow. How am I going to win? And that is and I know it's going to be one of the things that's always going to happen now that gambling is happening everywhere. I get it. It's been that way for soccer in Europe for a while. But there has to be something. I don't know if I want to have all this stuff because the game is so damn slow already. I mean, if you're going to slow this game down anymore with all these other checks and everything, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But, there's a couple things that I do think, and I was kind of writing down here. The replay and the time that's going on. I mean, that Cincinnati game, I swear to goodness, there were 5 seconds that were just magically put back on the clock for no reason. No one said anything about it. And that was late in the fourth quarter when this happened. My wife mentioned that. She's like, where'd the extra 5 seconds come from? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they're going to say something about it. Nothing. You see all the times that the referees are getting together just because of the timing. And I mean, how many times did the play clock go down to 0 and then you're sitting there like 1, 2, oh, they're snapping the ball and there's no flag? The consistency part, I totally get. But I tell you, man, if you get full-time referees and you get an evaluation system in place that these men and women, because there were quite a few women that ref the NFL games this year, that these men and women are given other spots based on their success by some sort of standard.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to help a lot with the people, especially for the fans who are watching this and betting on the game. I don't think it's ever going to be 100% perfect because the game is getting so fast. And some of these referees, I'm sorry, they're not able to keep up with what's happening. I mean, there were a couple plays in the Eagles game where, their referee is losing a step and a half. I mean, and out of position. There were some that the refs were really out of position. I don't want to rip them all because I think there were some actually very, very good calls too. I think there were some great reffing calls that, nope, that was incomplete. The classic one was in the end zone against the Bengals and the Chiefs, where the one ref saw it right away and was like, no. That ball hit the ground, and he was right. Give him credit, give him a little bit of praise and everything. But there are so many issues that have to go on. The NFL needs to address this. I don't think they're going to. I really don't.
Yeah. I hope you're wrong about that. I hope they do, but for some reason they've been very it's like a subject they don't want to talk very much about in light criticism, I guess. But like you said, I mean, there should be an evaluation. It should be public. We should be able to see how, like, what the grade is of the officials.
Yeah, because like how like you have all these TV shows where they do like live judging from home, like where the audience like judges and all that stuff works fairly seamlessly.
Then you got like the NBA that when they make a mistake, like the next day they're already saying, "Oh yeah, that was a mistake," whatever. Like you don't see a lot of apologies from the NFL
ever. Yeah.
Well, the NBA doesn't apologize, but you're right, Ross. They'll throw that last 2-minute report out, and then it'll just kind of float out there and say, "Oh yeah, this should have been called." And they've done that for a couple of years. And would you say that the officiating is better in the NBA? I'd say it's not. I don't know if that 2-minute thing that they're releasing, it's for fans to sit there and say, see.
It doesn't improve it. They're just acknowledging it. So yeah, it doesn't fix the problem.
I personally don't agree with them saying, yeah, we fucked up. That's like kicking the nuts for the other team. Thanks.
Right.
It's not like you can change the outcome.
Whoops. You still didn't win.
Right.
Our bad.
LeBron still got fouled and took 5 steps to the basket.
But the process of the NBA does, like, at least I understand when they make a ruling, what their
acknowledgement.
They do a much better job explaining.
NBA has amazing transparency compared to all the other leagues. They address things the quickest, and they are aware. They have the most awareness, for sure.
And I just want to clarify that it has to. The whole process has to be quick. You can't slow the game down. But 90% of the time, I feel like the commentators are 100% aware of what happened or didn't happen, and they mostly get it right. And they're watching the same angles that
we are.
Like, it could be really fast, and this is the thing. The refs on the ground have to make a call, and then we go to the review if someone challenges. Shouldn't they have the input of someone from up above that can see angles that they didn't get a chance to see, or maybe they didn't have the chance to be in the right position because everything is happening so fast? I just think there could be so much value in getting input from multiple places and coming together and getting the right call, putting the puzzle together very quickly, maybe to where the commentators are at. I think that could happen. And if that did happen, it's not going to be perfect, but could it be significantly better than it is today? I believe that it could. So anyway, Bill's probably right, though. They won't do shit. It'll continue to be something we bitch about every Monday.
I cut out there.
Yeah.
Did I lose points for that or gain points?
Well, I was excited that you weren't here for a little bit, but I didn't give you points or lose any points. You cut out. You got that.
I think I figured it out because I read ahead in the document, so I think I know why you're mad at me. So, but can I chime in on this? Can I?
Yes, I'm totally excited to hear.
I'm chugging on this one, Andy. I'm chugging. I
wish I had.
Oh, straight from the bottle.
Whoa!
Oh, that was too easy.
Roger, you might get back into my good graces.
Hey, just a paisano got it. The paisano, this is the $11 right there, man. Out the door. Dago Red. You know what?
That's the small ball.
Watching the referees on the sideline was like watching me run the fucking video edits, and it's archaic. You know, do they still get under the hood? Because I don't even pay attention anymore. I'm on board with what Bill was saying about full-time referees. I think it needs to go a step further and develop an academy. And you have D2 football players. You have athletes in college that are looking for a profession that can afford it to hire these because you got old guys out there that can't keep up with the fucking game and they're missing calls. And you develop a career for college athletes that maybe want to get into officiating, you know, and you develop them and they have constant training. They're linked with the sky judge. I think too much time is wasted with challenges, with sitting under the hood, all the clock mishaps. Look how advanced we are in technology, and we're adding. Hey, please add 30 seconds to the clock. You know, I think the whole thing needs revamped. I'm all for it in the NFL. I'm totally against it in Major League Baseball. I don't know why, but I am. But in football, they have the money they have billions of dollars, man. Fix instant replay and officiating.
All right. Well, Roger, you were shot out of a cannon. I appreciate that. So by the draft, I'm going to be back to appreciating.
By the end of Six Bit Chug, you're going to get a resolution, aren't you? I knew I was in trouble all week, and I even know why.
Well, maybe if you weren't such an asshole.
I was, and it was. I know.
Sorry.
We'll get to it. Go ahead, proceed.
All right, moving on to statement number 3. The Bengals went to the AFC Championship 2 years in a row. They made it to the Super Bowl 1 year. They will be playing in the AFC Championship game again in 2023. I guess it would be played in 2024, but you know what I mean. I am going to start and look, I always underestimate the Bengals, and finally I said I think they were going to make it to the AFC Championship this year. They did. I'm not going to bet on them twice, though. They will not. They're doing some great things. Joe's amazing. Chase is amazing, but they will not make it back to the championship game in 2023. I'm spitting on that. Jerry.
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna sip. I'm gonna take a Roger and sip on it.
They might make it back. Okay.
They might. A lot of stuff's gonna happen in the off season, and they get some decent draft picks.
All right. Well, thank you for. I did a terrible job answering that question, but now I feel better about my answer after hearing your answer.
What we call that in research, it's called hand waving. It's like trying to distract away from. Like,
good job. All right, let's get a good answer on this question, Lysandra. Are the Bengals going to return to the AFC Championship game in 2023?
I'm once again preserving beer because I'm going to spit
Nice.
on this. But I'm still going to sip because I'm parched. Okay. And I say this because, one, for some reason, we always have the Bengals number for the most part. Two, adding Deshaun Watson into the AFC North and actually getting him in for a full season, I think is going to change the AFC North picture a lot. I think that he's going to change the way the offense is ran. I think that the whole vibe of the Browns is going to change. I kind of saw a transition a little bit. I mean, Watson didn't start off so strong, but as the season progressed, I could see some glimmers of greatness, little specks of greatness. And I think that that's going to have, I mean, the Bengals are going to have to get through us. I'm going to sit there and say that I'm going to talk all the shit in the world. I don't care. But like I said, we are going to be a different team next year. And for the most part, we've got their number. And the Browns have been great competitors this year. And there were a handful of games that we should have won. And gosh, we could have easily had 3 more wins this year, just because those first few games of the season were bullshit. So I definitely think that the Bengals are not going to have as easy of a road to the AFC Championship next year.
All right. Bill.
I'm going to spit.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill.
I will say this. They have a very good team. The problem with the Bengals is going to be, how are you going to pay all those players? They are just not going to have the money. I mean, right now, Burrow could be the $500 million man. And the Bengals are now banking on trying to have every company be a official sponsor for the Bengals so they can get as much money as they can to keep everybody. Pretty soon we'll probably have the Bengal official sponsor for your car change, for your oil change. I mean, they're going to need the cash for that. Now, I think they've also been very lucky. They've had a lot of luck over the past 2 years when they've gotten into the playoffs, whether who they played or something that's happened in the game. You can't sit there and tell me that every year they're going to have the same luck that's that way. Will they make the playoffs? Yes, because of Joe Burrow and the connection that he has with his players. And I even think, I don't know if it was Tony Romo who said it or whatever. I usually try to keep my ears closed when Tony's talking, but he did say
Right.
he could very well be the smartest young quarterback he's ever seen, because things that he said took him or other quarterbacks a couple of years to learn. Joe takes a game and he's like, okay, we got to do this. And there is something special about that kid. There's something special about that team, but there's no way they're going to keep having that luck. And I'm not even going to say that we're going to be the ones that right now. There are too many question marks that we have. I don't know if we're going to be there. I do know that the Kansas City Chiefs went younger, and look where they are going younger. They went younger they let a lot of their more high-priced talent go, and my God, they're still playing in the Super Bowl again. So we got our work cut out for us. Bengals, no way.
All right. Roger.
I'm chugging on it.
What?
I think they're going to make the playoffs, go to the AFC champion. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. Andy, does
Wow.
that get me any points? Does that help with the Bengal fan that I was a dick to?
I don't know what you're talking about, Roger, but
No. Everything. You know what, man? I heard Herm Edwards today on 92.3, and he said there's 7 and 10 teams that could be 10 and 7, and 10 and 7 teams that could be 7 and 10 with 3 plays in the NFL. 3 plays in a game make or break you. And how many times this year did that happen against the Jets in a minute? Just the margin of error in the NFL is so slim. You know, you have to have control of your locker room. You have to have a mentally and physically tough football team to win in the NFL, and that's what the Cleveland Browns need. And they're going to lose a lot of players, like you said. Who knows, man? Who had the Bengals going to the AFC Championship game again? You know,
a lot of people did.
Plus or minus 3 games.
One of the 3 best teams in the AFC. I don't think it was that weird this year.
So, I'll say I hope they're not. You know.
All right, Ross, close it out in this one.
I'm spitting on that one. So they're not going to get the bye week next year because they're not going to have the best record in the league. I think that bye week is obviously super crucial because look who's in the Super Bowl, both teams that got the bye week. And then the AFC is just so freaking loaded. I mean, the Jets could have a whole new quarterback next year and actually have a chance. Got to go through Josh Allen, and if they have Von Miller, they're going to be tough to beat. The Bills had a lot of bad luck this year, and that's part of what Bill said is like the Bengals have had luck the last 2 years, things that had to happen for them to get where they were. They're an amazing team, but to say they're going to make the AFC Championship again with the way the AFC's stacked, I wouldn't bet on it. And they're not going to have the best record, like I said. So, no, they're not going there again. It's too competitive. Honestly, the AFC is the Wild West. It's a crapshoot who's going to get to the AFC Championship game if you aren't the 1 seed.
All right. And I love it. We're moving on to statement number.
Bengals fans suck.
Yeah, Bengals fans. I don't know. Yeah, I feel sorry for them. Getting to watch their team make it so deep. Anytime you go to the games in Cincinnati, their fans are so just bizarre. I don't get them. They're very strange.
They're very good baseball fans. They're terrible football fans. That's after living there for so long. That's what I picked up.
It's a baseball town. It's a baseball town.
Yeah, baseball.
All this current Bengals fandom is based on their fans because they're good. When they were okay in making the playoffs and they weren't great, they did not show up to playoff games.
Well, we're going to see what happens. We're not usually right when we make bets on the Dawg Chug, but we'll see if we're right on this one. I think everyone except Roger said that they were not going to make the playoff, the AFC Championship.
I'll be right back.
All right, Ross is stepping away. We're going to move on to statement number 4. This one is going to start with Sherry. So unmute before you start talking. But very simply, John Adams, his drum should be in Cooperstown in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Sherry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
What's that? Chug?
You're chugging.
Chugging.
I want to ask Sherry, will you chug a beer with me on the Dawg Chug on a future episode of the Dawg Chug?
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
At some point.
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be fun. I would love to chug a beer with you. Okay.
I'm going to grade it.
Roger, you're down to 79.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Lysander, should John Adams' drum be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, assuming his family was okay with it?
I don't know enough about baseball to answer that one.
So you're sipping.
No, I'm going to chug anyway, damn it.
All right.
She's ready to party.
Who's not persevering her beer anymore?
I'm not.
All right, Bill.
Absolutely. I'm chugging this one. So I was listening to an interview. I don't know if it was yesterday or 2 days. It was like the day after he died, and or the couple hours after he died. And somebody said that they were interviewing, who was it? Nolan Ryan or somebody like that. And they said, what did you think of the game? He goes, I don't know. There weren't enough people here, but God, I was sick and tired of that drummer up there. And I thought that was like the best thing that you can say for him. We all, anytime any of us that went to an Indians/Guardians game, he was there. he became as important as the fans being there. But then I think as he got to be there and they had the success in the 90s, I think the success in the 90s helped in so many different ways for not just the town, but for the club too. But I also think it brought a whole new group of fans to realize that this guy's been doing this since 72 or 71. Really? Are you kidding me? He's one of those guys like Joe Tate that you sit there and you just enjoy the games, and you hear him in the background, you hear the drum pound in the back, you're like, there he is. That needs to be there. I think that's it's an important part of our history. It's going to the League Park. Is that right? There's something with his stuff is going to League Park. Did I read that right?
I didn't know. Oh, it was one of the.
There's something of his. I don't know if it's the drumsticks or whatnot, but in League Park they have the museum there.
Yeah, they do. It's really cool.
There is something that they're putting there for him. But yeah, I think that's going to be something that I tell you, this ownership team and the way that they deal with the fans is just ridiculously nauseating for such a great team that they have. The ownership. And it just mind-boggling because the fans love that team, and I honestly think the fans don't give the Guardians enough love. I think we give more love to the Browns, and they don't deserve it.
Amen.
All right,
get them to Cooperstown.
Yeah, Roger.
I'm chugging on it. I'm number one because you made me read that awful text message in the beginning of the show.
I didn't make you do
that. And number two, and I'm probably going to go from 79 back to 90. I got a John Adams story. What we had a priest, Father Ross was a hippie man, and he loved baseball and he loved Indians baseball. And he used to take us during the summertime. He'd get tickets and take us to ball games. And we would go there, man, at least once a week during the summer. We'd play Army in the fifth, 500 section. It was empty. Municipal Stadium was empty. But one day we were up there and we were banging the seats. John Adams would hit the drum and we'd respond and he'd respond to us. And it went back and forth, man. And we would bang the seats and he'd bang the drum. And it was an incredible experience. I'm about 10 years old and it made me love baseball even more. His drum should be in Cooperstown. It's a big part of my childhood and Municipal Stadium and baseball's Cleveland baseball history.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Ross.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna spit on it.
Ooh.
Oh.
And not because I don't respect the man. Why the hell would you have it in Cooperstown? Why can't you just have it in the damn Progressive Field? Just have it in Cleveland. We care about it the most. Maybe have it on display for everyone to stop by and appreciate it. Like, we have more sentimental value for it than people walking by in Cooperstown. Be like, who the hell is this guy? I bet you, most people outside of Cleveland, don't know about this drummer in Cleveland. I think it would be way better to just have it at the ballpark.
Wow.
All right.
That's going to be a great clip. That was great.
Yeah. So to your point, I'm going to answer how I'm going to answer first. I feel like it should be because baseball is such a special game. I don't know. There's something about being at a ballpark.
Yeah.
That it's different. I don't know why. It feels like you're almost part of the game more than the other sports. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. But there's something so iconic about that guy just drumming for as long as he did it at every game, and it's so I don't know. It's such a special thing. Just proves how loyal the fans of baseball are. I don't know. I would love to go to Cooperstown and see that on a little plaque and see it and read the story about how he did that. So for me, it's definitely a chug. I mean, some part of it should be in our little museum too, but I think it deserves to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I will say though that about 10 years ago, I went to a Indians game at the time. and I was carrying like 3 beers to the bleacher seats, and my friend, she was carrying 2 beers, and we had to like scooch past John Adams as he was doing his thing, and he like without missing a beat just looked at us and was like, alcohol is a sin and you're going to spend the eternal damnation in hell or something. So like, whoa, like you're the fucking guy that drums and I love you, and you're just going to completely just judge me because you don't like that I'm carrying too many beers. Like he would not have made an appearance on the Dawg Chug, but I do honor him. I think he did great things for the Indians and Guardians. So I'm gonna chug. So.
That's the joke earlier in the show.
Okay. All right. Move on to statement number 5. And Lysandra, we're gonna start with you, but I think we already know, based on your previous answer, where you land on this. The Browns will have a winning record in 2023.
I'm gonna chug to that, and I don't give a shit what anybody says.
There you go. Throw it down. No beans and chili, and she don't give a shit what they say about the Browns winning in 2023.
Beans go in chili. Chili. I'm gonna have to chug mostly. Even though there's a lot of different variables that stop. Even though there's a lot of variables in place in the off season, I'm just gonna let my fan bias get in the way, and I'm gonna say that we got a new quarterback. We finally got our guy, and I think that now that we know that we have our guy, we can go into the off season and into training camp and into preseason in the next season and actually know who our guy is and not have a question. Yep, we paid that guy $240 million, but we know who our guy is. I have had many years as a Browns fan since I can remember not knowing what the hell is going to happen the next year, not knowing, who the guy is going to be. And now that we somewhat have our shit together, I feel like, it's only up from here. This past season was a shit show. It was awful. There was just so much malice hurled towards Browns fans because of who our quarterback is. And once that all settles down, I have good feelings about next year.
All right. Love it. Love the optimism. Bill.
Oh boy, I'll sip, but I'm not sure they're going to make the playoffs. They may have a winning record, but they may be 9-8, and they may not make the playoffs. This team has to prove to me that Kevin Stefanski is not going to make stupid calls in games. Who's going to be our backup quarterback? There's a good chance that Jacoby Brissett's not going to come back. And so, who's going to be your backup? There are going to be so many questions going into this season. I know Jacob's going to say, but we have 8 draft picks. Okay. I understand we have 8 draft picks. I do. Okay. I get that. I wish we would have if you were going to trade, you should have traded Kareem Hunt during the season when you could have gotten 2 additional draft picks, but no, we didn't do that. That's a whole nother story. I would think the better question, Andy, might actually be, plus or minus, how many games the Browns going to win? Plus or minus 8. What do you think is going to happen? That might be a better question.
All right. How many games?
But in answer to your question, I think we'll have a winning record. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Fair enough. Lysandra, how many games do you think the Browns are going to win? Let's switch this up.
What were we, 7-10 last season? I'm seeing a 9-8 or a 10-7. I'm gonna have to agree with that. Everything that Bill is saying is spot on. I was going off of my bias, but yeah, Kevin Stefanski definitely has to get his shit together, and I think we're quite tired of hearing that we just have to get better.
Yes.
So.
You got another outstanding coach in the AFC in Sean Payton, and don't forget that.
And why the hell he went to the Donkeys?
don't be surprised if all of a sudden Denver comes out of nowhere.
I know.
Because that's how much I believe that Sean
Comes
Payton
out of
is
nowhere.
a phenomenal
They still
coach.
have an amazing defense. They have a great quarterback, and now they have a coach that's not over his head. Yeah, they're going to be good.
I'm interested to see how well he does because he has no fucking draft picks to work off. They gave up they gave up everything and the kitchen sink to get this guy. My husband is a Broncos fan, and he's like, "Yay!"
I don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to get too off track here, but yeah, it does seem like the ownership is not doing like the best job, and just said, let's give him anything that we have to get a win here, so let's just give him everything he needs. And whenever you do that, whenever you act desperately in football, it usually doesn't work out. So I wouldn't be surprised long term if Denver is going down in flames, but they might be really good next season. Anyway, let's head back to the question posed to Rogers and Spits of Chug now. It's how many wins will the Browns have? And if you think it's going to be a lot, you chug.
I'm going to chug on it. They have no choice but to win and go to the playoffs at this point. They pushed all in. They got a lot of holes to fix. They got a lot of work to do. I expect something different next year. You know what? The calendar hasn't flipped. When you do this same question in Dawg Chug in April, I'm going to be like, the Browns are going to be 12-5. And you know what I mean? But today I hope they're 10-7, and maybe we can sneak into the playoffs, man.
All right. Ross,
Yeah,
you have been a big time, you did not think that that was the right move to pick the quarterback. How many?
Yeah, so I got to be the Debbie Downer, I guess. I'm going to spit on it. Honestly, after seeing the Brock Purdy experience work out, I gave up on the excuse that Deshaun not playing for 2 years is an excuse. He had the playbook from Stefanski. He got to work out with the Browns, and when it came time for him to play, he wasn't ready. We got one good half out of Deshaun Watson out of every single game we saw. So until I'm convinced that we have our quarterback, like literally seeing it, which we haven't seen yet except for one half of football, and seeing him scramble for his life half the time. I mean, I think there were some O-line injuries too, so I'll give him some benefit of the doubt. But no, in this current state, we are not better than all these AFC teams. I talked about earlier, the AFC is loaded. And I really wanted to see Deshaun have that one amazing game where either he runs for a shit ton of yards or he throws like 5 touchdowns. And it didn't happen, unfortunately. And we had a pretty easy second half of the season for him to start. So I'll be a pessimist. Typically I wasn't, but it doesn't help that I wasn't happy with the Deshaun signing in the first place for probably not on-field reasons. But go Browns.
How many wins though?
Wins? We're not making the playoffs. I'm saying 7.
7 wins. Okay.
The AFC is going to have a lot of those 500 teams, I think. Like the 9-8, 8-9 record is going to be floating all over the place.
The playoff
like
race this year was crazy.
Yeah.
This year there were so many teams that were in the hunt and that were around that 50, that 500 mark.
It was the same in both conferences, really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for me personally, look, the amount of distractions that are going on for this team this year, and I don't want to make an excuse, but I want to make an example, which is to say I have been a big fan of the Browns' little reality show. What's that called? Building the Browns. They do such a good job. I love watching every episode of that show until we hit this season, because this season they were so freaked out about how everything was going to be perceived, in my opinion, that they didn't want to show things. They didn't want to show people getting excited because everyone was just talking about the Browns in a toxic way because of how hard it was to talk about the Cleveland Browns in this past year. And essentially, what I'm attempting to say here is the Building the Browns show was awful this past season. None of those episodes I'll ever want to watch again. When there were some from previous seasons, I was like, this is phenomenal. This is so great. This is awesome to get to see these things. I think that permeated to every aspect of the Cleveland Browns last year. I think everything was so difficult last year. It was like when there's a fire and you you breathe in the smoke and no one can do what they need to do. They just collapse and suffocate, I guess. I think
Nobody stopped, dropped, and rolled.
yes, everyone just exactly. Thank you. The point is, I think I say the point one more time. Make me drink, please. Here's the thing. Just did it in a different word. I didn't see a film crew executing, and I didn't see a football team executing because everything was just larger than life last year, and everyone was just, I don't know, like freaked out about everything that was going on. I expect it to be different next year. So I think this offseason, the Browns are going to go all in because they realize, I mean, AB and Mansky have one chance. We fix it this year or we're gone. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of, they're not going to say like, hey, let's make the moves for 2026. They're going to be making moves for 2023. And I believe it's going to be able to get us over the hump. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be, battling the Bengals for the AFC Championship, but I do think we're going to make the playoffs next year. So I'm going to go 11-6, I guess.
There you go.
There you go.
You heard it here first.
Sherry.
I'm still awake.
Nice.
The number that came into my head first was 11. So I'm going to go with you and Chug on 11.
Clink.
Yeah, I think this offseason they're going to build chemistry, and I think that was the main thing that they didn't have with Watson. Or if they did, it was very limited. But now he's going to be like all in, so they'll have all this extra time with him, and I think things are going to start to gel together.
All right. So,
All right.
yeah, we're going to get better. I love it.
And it's only February 1st, and we got 11-10. Look at how we hang in there with this team, man.
Yeah, well, we're optimists, just like Billy and Browns.
Right.
Parking Browns. We love this team, and we're gonna. We always want to think the best. Except for our guests, which we're shitting on them a little bit, but that's okay. It's hard being a fan of this team when you're not drinking as much as we are. Let's move on to our final statements.
There we go.
Spit, sip, chug. Here we go. What are you talking about? Who are we? Oh, Bill, we're going to start with you on this one. Actually, let's start with Ross.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Start with Ross.
Okay.
Thank you.
Last week on Dawg Chug, Roger was talking about, this. There's a weird thing that has been going on Twitter where, there are Browns fans that are rooting for the Bengals because they, enjoy the story that the Bengals are doing and the Browns are out of it. So they're rooting for the Bengals. And then there's Browns fans that hate the Browns fans that are rooting for the Bengals. And Roger actually brought up this story and essentially said, I'm never going to tell anyone how to fan, which
I did.
props to you. However,
I lied.
then over the next, few days, I saw you on multiple occasions just being vicious to people that were rooting for the Bengals as Browns fans. So the last statement is Roger should not be bullying Browns fans on Twitter about rooting for the Bengals. Ross, we'll start with you.
Roger should not be. I'm going to spit on it. It's okay to pick a side from time to time. I know we're all worried about making extreme opinions because we don't want people judging us, but sometimes when you have your team and there's a team in your division, you don't root for that team. Plain and simple. I mean, you can cheer for players. I get that. Like, go Joe Burrow, Ohio guy, but don't say Bengals. If you're saying go Bengals, that's dumb. If you say go Joe Burrow, I can defend you a little bit. Yeah, you deserve to be bullied for rooting for a team and you claim yourself a Browns fan. Screw that nonsense.
All right. Well, personally, for me, I am going to let's see. Roger should not be. I'm going to chug on this one.
I knew that was
anti-Roger.
That's why I'm in the doghouse to begin with.
Listen, at the end of the day, I don't care if you're rooting for the Bengals or not. Ultimately, just don't fucking go on Twitter and pick a side about whether you're an asshole for rooting for the Bengals or whether you're cool for rooting for the Bengals. Both sides are fucking idiots.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up about your feelings on the Bengals. Our team lost. I have no opinion. If you want to go out and say like, "Oh, I want the Bengals to win the Super Bowl," good for you. I'm not going to come out here and call you an idiot. If you want to say "fuck the Bengals," I'm not going to have a comment on it either, Roger. You are trolling for likes or whatever. You're trying to be controversial on Twitter, and I'm not about it. That's why I'm pissed at you.
I'm so glad you. Oh, can't wait.
Is he back up to like 99% now?
And you said
99% you're at.
You literally said, "I'm not going to tell anyone I'm not a fan," which is like the smartest thing you've ever said. And then you did exactly the opposite. You told everyone they're an asshole. You're rooting for the Bengals.
I know.
You're a piece of shit. And I'm sorry. It's going to take some time to get over this. All right, share.
Wait, what's this? I'm so. What was the original statement? Don't troll on Browns fans.
Roger should not be bullying people that root for the Bengals.
Yeah, that's not nice, Roger.
Ah, see, she agrees with me. That's why I love her.
I give that a 9 antacid.
You can't use my own scale against me. I don't bully anybody.
Roger put that sticker of Calvin his logo on his truck like he told me he was going to. Yeah. Well, Sandra, is Roger a piece of shit or is he a good guy?
I'm gonna have to sip on this, man.
She's persevering her beer. She wants a chug, Roger. She agrees with me.
And then I'm gonna chug because I'm thirsty, but my opinion is a sip. And the only reason why is that incriminating statement of I'm not gonna tell people how to fan.
But F you if you're cheering for the Bengals.
Right. You're gonna troll people that are Bengals fans. So I mean, and I'm gonna again, Ross, I agree. It's if they're in the same division, what the fuck? So it's like they deserve it, but at the same time, if Roger just never made that incriminating statement, I would totally be spitting. So
Incriminating.
All right, so
it was incriminating.
did make the incriminating statement. He's a piece of shit. Great. Well said.
Bill's up. What's
Bill.
up?
She's chomping at the bit.
I'm going to spit. I'm going to say this. I love Roger. Roger and I take enough grief as Michigan fans, as Sherry does too. We take enough grief as Michigan fans, and every Browns fan feels that you have to be an Ohio State fan too. So they're going to criticize you because you have to be an Ohio State fan if you're a Browns fan.
That's what it is.
Far be it from me to tell Roger what he should or should not say to anyone. I'm going to stay on my side of the street because I sometimes can't even say the right thing to my friends and to my family. And so let Roger do whatever he wants to do. But I am a teacher and I get it. I don't like the bullying aspect. But all I can say is what did we expect with social media? What did we think social media was going to do? Social media was going to create everyone who is going to say, I'm a Browns fan. Browns suck. I'm a Bengals fan. I'm staying on my side of the street. Roger, I love you. Go blue. Go Browns.
You know what?
Well,
Wait.
While you do that,
Whoa. Whoa.
what is this?
That doers.
Whoa.
I'm getting out the doers. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
I don't want to bully anybody into me getting my turn here.
Hey, this is your chance to call out Andy for putting that word in the statement.
Andy did have. Somebody said earlier, Andy has a Roger-esque type story. Let me know when it's my turn.
All right, it's your turn.
I'm chugging.
Oh, whoa.
Wow.
Right there.
I absolutely should be an asshole. You know what? I never went after anybody on Twitter. I posted something. They came after me. I went to high school with Joe Burrow. I don't give a shit if you went to with Vince. I don't care. You know what? My first ever football game, Cleveland Browns football game, was at Cleveland Municipal Stadium against the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm at the concession stand. My dad gets me a Coca-Cola and a hot dog with stadium mustard. I turn around and a guy knocks me over and knocks my hot dog and my Coca-Cola on the. He was a Bengals fan. He had a Bengals coat on. He turned around and looked at me and started laughing. And he kept going. Ever since then, Bafangu, the fucking Bengals. Everybody that's associated with them. And Ken Anderson went on to kick our ass that game. We had Paul McDonald the quarterback. It was the most miserable experience of my life. You know what? The Bengals fan can kiss my ass. I never went after any of them. I posted something. They came after me. I retaliated. I'm going to stand my ground. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. You know what? You hate Chris Collinsworth, Cleveland Browns fans? Imagine if you're old enough, Chris Collinsworth catching a pass from Boomer fucking Esiason, who I can't stand more than anybody on this planet. And you know what? They went and lost 2 Super Bowls. I was hoping the Bengals won the other day so they could go lose to the fucking Eagles and lose another Super Bowl. Bengals fans can kiss my ass. You come after me on Twitter, I'm coming back after you. I don't give a shit. Andy, bring me to 50 or 100%. I don't care. The Bengals fan can kiss my ass. Go Browns.
Roger coming in hot.
With that, Roger, you're 100% back in my cool book. I love you. I'm sorry
That rant
I got
was
that wrong.
classic.
That was excellent.
That was phenomenal. Roger, I love you, man. So go Browns.
I love you. Go Browns. To see you, Bengals fans. You know what? Joe Burrow, I feel sorry for the kid. I think he got recruited into Ohio State. He always dreamed of playing there. And Urban Meyer knew he didn't fit the system. And he sat him on the bench so he could go nowhere else to hurt him. And he probably destroyed a kid's brilliant, beautiful college career where he probably could have won 2 natties, you know, going and playing somewhere else instead of being buried on the bench. He threw 40 passes in Columbus. He did not play for the Buckeyes, man. Buckeye fans, get off your horse. They buried him on the bench. I think Urban Meyer ruined his collegiate career. And thank God he had a year of eligibility, and he went and played at LSU, and he got drafted, and the Bengals were able to get him. They should be thanking God for that, not worshiping the Buckeyes and Urban Meyer that he played at Ohio State. It's bullshit.
Bill, you have something to add?
I was just going to say, Burrow had one of the greatest.
Burrow could have had a brilliant college career.
One of the greatest seasons in the history of college football.
But he didn't fit the system. And Meyer knew he didn't fit the system, and he still recruited him because the kid wanted to play at Ohio State since he was a little boy. His dad was a high school coach and wanted his kid to play at Ohio State, and he preyed on him.
Now he's extra sauced and angry.
I was gonna literally end the show just after you got done with
the rant.
First win, and then you had to draw it out and make it awkward.
I had to root it. Where am I back to 50%?
No, I still love you. I love you all.
All right.
Let's,
I love you too.
All right.
Go Joe Burrow. You're an amazing quarterback, I guess. Whatever. Fuck the Bengals.
Fuck the Bengals. Bill, Lysandra, thank you for coming in tonight out of the bullpen.
I hope,
gentlemen, sure, it's always a pleasure.
I honestly hope next week our guest cancels, and then the week after that they cancel, so we get you guys back because it's so much more fun when you're on. Anyway, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Browns.
Browns.